Hey guys, what's going on? Happy Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. I feel like I've completely lost track of the days. Is it Tuesday, Wednesday? Happy whatever day it is in quarantine. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I have two phenomenal women, and we're going to start with Madeline Fagan. And Mady is somebody that I've actually never personally met. So this is the first time that I'm actually getting to interview her, speak with her. She's also a high jumper from the University of Georgia. And while attending the University of Georgia, became the indoor and outdoor SEC and NCAA champion in the high jump, which is absolutely phenomenal. She's done things that I never have. Her PR is 6'4". And she set the world on fire pretty much just with her personality, her hard work, and pretty much her athleticism. And now she majored in sports marketing, I believe, sports management, and she is going off to law school. So I'm really, really excited to get to know her, interview her, and I'm going to add her right away because this is really going to be an interview asking everything that I to know her and being in an SEC school. So we're going to add Mady right now.
Hey, girl.
Hey!
Oh, I got my coffee. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I know. I got my coffee. I had a cup this morning, but I'm a coffee addict. And so I'm like, oh, let's put on another pot.
I feel that. It's so bad. I've been drinking so much.
Oh, don't even, please. In this time, there's nothing too much of anything at this point. So, thank you so much for joining me. It's crazy because I've never met you.
I know. I don't know how we haven't been at the same meets yet.
Oh, because I'm old. I'm very old and you are young and thriving. And so there's a big difference there. So
Stop, girl.
But I'm so excited that you're joining me and that people can, I'm going to fix this because it does so much. Because people, I mean, obviously they know high jump, but not that well. But to have another just like fabulous high jumper is so exciting. And I had Janelle on, and now to have you
I
on.
love Janelle, yeah.
I know, it's what's so crazy. So when did you graduate University of Georgia?
I did my undergrad in 2018, and I decided that year that I was going to actually come back for my 5th year of eligibility. And that's when I applied for my master's in law, and I actually have completed that. So I'm done with school right now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you about the law school and how that all happened. So you're all done.
I am for now. I've actually considered going back to like get my full Juris Doctorate eventually, but that's not right now.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible. Yeah, you're killing it in the game. I can tell you that.
Thank you.
Once I was done, I was like, I'm done school. I'm not going back. You couldn't even. I would love to do law. I definitely can't. It's just not, and it's not for me.
Well, it's funny. I was not a good student in high school, and then even in college, I was definitely figuring it out. I have ADD, and I always felt really like stupid, but it was really just I hadn't come across a subject that I was passionate about until my sports law in undergrad, and that's what inspired me to apply to law school. And I was like, oh, I'm not dumb. I just have never applied myself in my life.
Besides sports, yeah.
Yes, and like high jump, and then I also paint. So those are like things that I've always been able to focus on. So I'm like, why is it that I can be really good at certain things, but I cannot apply myself at school? And just finding something that I loved, even though it's hard, like I definitely kind of suffered in law school because I was trying to practice as well, and that was not it was kind of unheard of at least at Georgia. They had not had somebody do that. So I was overwhelmed, but I was still, at the end of the day, I could sit down and read a law textbook for 5 hours. I was like, wow, I can actually do this.
That's incredible. That just to find your niche and like it all of a sudden just kind of clicked. And I'm glad that it did. And I think that's the whole purpose of college. I really do. I think you find yourself in college. You find out your strengths, your weaknesses, what you like, what you don't like, the people that you want to be associated with and the people you don't want to be associated with. So I think you got all you got out of college, to be honest.
Man, I learned a lot. That's
I can imagine. That's the best part. As long as you can come out and say, I have learned a lot, that's great. And where are you right now?
I'm in the Santa Cruz Mountains in California. So this is my parents' home.
Okay.
I've been here since September because I needed knee surgery. And I just knew that I couldn't really do that on my own. Like I had plans to stay in Athens, but doing like a knee surgery where I wouldn't be able to walk for like 8 weeks, I was like, there's no way I can do that.
You need that recovery help. And sometimes
I need mama.
You need mom. Yeah, you need
Yeah.
mom so bad. Mommy.
And she was amazing. Like I couldn't put that. My roommate back in Georgia is named Katie, and she's amazing. I know she would have just done everything she could, but she's a full-time teacher as well. And that's not her job to take care of me. And it is my mom's job to take care of me still.
No, I think that made the most sense. And I did want to ask you, I mean, while you were at Georgia, you had a phenomenal career, and you were the indoor and outdoor champ for SECs and NCAAs. Now, there's two ways I can take this, but I'm going to ask both. When it comes to preparing for that, I mean, I didn't go to the SECs, and my college experience was completely different than yours because track was so far from my, like, being successful in track was not my thing. I wanted to be an actress. I was just like, I'll figure this track thing out. But you obviously made it your commitment, your dedication, and you went to the SECs and you went to NCAAs and thought, I'm going to win this. How do you prepare for something like that to be a champion in a sense?
So I don't know if you saw, but my freshman year at Georgia, I jumped 5'5". Like I was,
oh yeah, I saw your stats, boo.
Yeah. So I think it's not uncommon to have a rough freshman year, especially as a student athlete, especially going across the country. Yeah. I was dealing with a lot of personal stuff during that year. It was a really, really difficult year. I questioned whether I made the right choice, and if I needed to look into just moving closer to home because I was in shock. And I also was dealing.
I will tell you, boo. I think every single person has the same reaction to college when they move away. Because I was a high school coach, and I told my kids, go away. Go far away, because you can always come back home. You all have loving parents that'll welcome you home. But you've got to get out of that comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And when I went to St. John's, I didn't even go that far. But it was such a shock to me. I was like, I need to move. I need to move schools. I need to do this. And you always question it. So
and I had a coach there that had actually told me that I was like on a downward trend and that I would never be good at high jump again, and that I should probably just consider like letting it go. That coach is no longer there, so I don't mind talking about it. I don't really, you said it, bro. Like,
right?
You look the way you look.
And I think that's good too. You better call out these people who,
I mean,
I'm a big believer in
and
that
that's part of what fueled me, because we had a complete like realignment. Like, we hired new people. Petros got promoted to head coach, and I went there to work with Petros, to be honest. And like, I just knew that if I was going to go spend 4 years of my life training 20 hours a week, I was going to get better at my sport. And like, I had gone there to work with him, and then I didn't get placed with him for a variety of, like, you know how sports are, it's political.
Yes.
For a variety of reasons. And so when I did get a chance, I don't think having a specific coach is like the magic. Like, nobody's going to make you do what you need to do. However, that was in my mind, a chance to start new. And so I remember like having this conversation with myself going into my sophomore year. I was like, listen, it's been rough the last 2 years. I haven't PR'd. I haven't, had a good season. I've been really stressed. I don't like my sport right now. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I've got one more shot, basically. And if I give it every single thing I've got and I still don't come out with a good result, at least I know. Then I know that, hey, this isn't working anymore, and I can go get my degree, whatever. However, I did apply myself. I worked so freaking hard that year, and I just really tried. It was a mental shift more than anything. Having a good coach helped. Being surrounded by the caliber athletes that are at Georgia helped. But that resulted in me getting second at nationals that year. And however, so that was outdoors. Indoors, I went to nationals for the first time, and I honestly felt like I don't belong here. That was my first that was the same reaction. Thing I thought too. And I was like, these girls are different than me. They're better than me. They're They're older than me. I was a sophomore. Like, all these different things are going through my head, and I ended up not doing, I got like 10th, and, you know, I wasn't that pissed off at myself because I was like, what the heck? Afterward, I was like, those girls are the same as me. Like, we have 2 legs, 2 arms, and a beating heart.
Great.
And I'm sure I've worked really hard just like they have, or even harder. So what's the issue? So by the time outdoors came around, finally won that title that I'd been, it was funny, I was supposed to win it indoors because we got into a jump off with a girl.
Oh.
And I won the jump off, and I was like, I won SGCs, like, it went crazy. I cried, and then they were like, oh, we weren't supposed to have the jump off, we counted wrong. So she had actually won, and I was like,
oh my gosh.
But I just won the jump off.
I know, like, I know this work, what you mean, like, this should count.
So that year it showed me just that it's not fair to put limits on myself. Like, to go from 5'5" to 6'2" in just that year, I was like, oh, okay, like, let's do this. So preparing for nationals outdoors that year, the thing that stuck with me for years, and shout out to my coach for this, like, it's stuck with me in so many more ways than just sports. He said, why not you? Mm-hmm. And I was like, what do you mean? Because in my head, I didn't want to admit that I was already discounting myself, that FlowTrack had already put me out of the scoring positions, like all that. And he's like, why can't it be you? Why can't you be the next big thing? And I was like, I don't know.
I don't have an answer for you right now. But
so that has been my phrase since then, because there's been a lot of things that I wasn't supposed to, like, that the odds were not in my favor to do, whether it was law school or this knee surgery or anything. And I just am like, okay, yes, the statistics don't point in my favor, but that doesn't take account, like, who I am and, like, what type of work I'm willing to put in for what I want. So that's been amazing. That's how I prepare, is just asking, okay, it's not going to be easy. The odds are never in your favor to win any championship, anything. But what are you going to do about it? Like, you just have to work.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's a perfect example of the journey that you learn along the way. And I think when you come into it, for any athlete, you always undermine yourself, and you always go and you're just like, oh, well, they're better, and they're, you know, these are elite athletes. And that was the biggest thing, especially for me. When I went to NCAA's, I went against Anika McPherson, and I was like, what? And Brigitte Barrett. And I was like, hell no, it ain't me, not today. So, like, these little things happen and come up. And then once I started going through, and I was like, I've worked way too hard. So I think it's great that you're an example of the truth, of just being genuine, and not just being like, oh, I've always thought about this, and I have my vision.
It's a messy journey. It's messy for everybody, and I don't have any problem with displaying that, because I think it makes you look so much stronger when you're on the other side of it. Like, absolutely.
I love it. I think it's great, and I love that this is how you learned your lessons, and I'm glad that it happened the way that it did. Now, one thing that a lot of athletes go through is injury, and you experience this too. And it always seems to happen when I feel like you have an injury right when you feel great, when you feel the best, and you feel like you've had a plan and you do all this kind of stuff, and then injury happens. And people could take it one or two ways. And some people let it take them down a really dark path. And then others, they're just like, this is just a minor setback, and I'm going to keep going. How are you handling your injury, your knee surgery, and what are you planning for the future?
So in 2017, obviously that was like my best year. That was when I won. And going into 2018, I started having knee pain, but you're a high jumper, so it's like you just learn to live with knee pain. And to a certain extent, I think that's okay. It's all about balance, about listening to your body, but understanding, like, you're never going to be a spring chicken out there high jumping. It hurts sometimes.
Not just high school. At high school, you can bounce back. And
oh my gosh. I wish I could have appreciated how good my body felt in high school. Like, no treatment, just out there.
God, I know. I just told the coach yesterday, I was like, in high school, I used to eat a bucket of chicken and like,
Oh,
I would just
yeah.
go jump. And I was like, I won. I jumped
Yeah.
5'6", and I was like, whatever, I won. Let me
Yep.
just keep going. And like,
The
if
good
I
days.
did that now, I don't even know what would happen. I have to roll out. Every time I roll out of
I
bed, I'm
know.
like, ugh.
My warm-up's
Ugh.
like an hour and a half, like,
Oh
girl.
God, it's the worst. But yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
So, I actually at some point in January 2017 to 2018, I like chipped a piece of cartilage off of my patella.
Oh wow.
And so it left like a little hole under, like on my patella, but on the underside of it. So where it's supposed to be all glidey and nice, it was just like, nope. So when that happened, I was kind of under the impression that I could keep jumping on it because it wouldn't get worse, but it would be painful. That wasn't the case. And I don't know. I think in college sports, it's really difficult to have like a super clear understanding of like what exactly is wrong with what exact injury you have, like here's the different options you have. If you go down this road, you might end up with this. If you go down this road, you might need surgery. Like I didn't have a really clear picture. I don't think that's any one person's fault at all. There's a lot of pressure to get back on the apron as soon as possible. And and I felt that pressure, and I don't think some of that's just coming internally, like I need to get back out there. I need to win again. I remember how good that felt.
And everything like that.
So I think just being in the SEC and being at a large school, that stuff you're gonna feel that no matter what. And I definitely don't blame any one person for like how my injury was handled, because I wanted to get back out there more than anybody.
I think in college it's very difficult. I think it is difficult just because, again, you're still growing up and you're still trusting people. So you're trusting your coach, you're trusting the doctor, but then you also are like, well, I need to compete. And doctors are always like, you need to shut it down. And you're like, no, it doesn't hurt that bad. And you're like, and he's like, well, you ripped all of this. And you're like, it doesn't hurt that bad. I can keep going.
Yeah. So I got very familiar with the Voltaren pills. Just, you know, it is what it is. That's the truth of it. And so 2018, I redshirted my outdoor season because I was like, all right, I can't, like, I went to indoor nationals, and the people who I normally would not even be worried about, or, you know, these other competitors and even the officials were like, why are you limping when you walk? And I'm like, I'm not. And they're like, yes, you are.
You want a picture, boo-boo?
And I'm like, if these people can see how much pain I'm in and they don't even like see me every day, like, why am I out here? And honestly, after that, I mean, I think I no-hided, but I was just like, I didn't even cry after that because I was just like, dude, there's only so much I can do. And so, unfortunately, I chose to do PRP after that because I was kind of thinking that my tendon was the one giving me so much pain and that this cartilage injury wasn't that bad. And so 2018, like spring, when I normally be competing, I redshirted, I got this PRP. I was feeling okay, but then come fall, I start training again, and I'm like, this still hurts super bad.
Wow.
So 2018 and 2019 season, I'd cry at practice. I was just trying to like get through, find a way to train without hurting myself. But my left leg, which is my jump leg, was atrophied, and I'm like, that's supposed to be the bigger leg. But it wasn't working anymore. It wasn't I couldn't activate my quad muscles the way you should when you jump because I was in so much pain. And so, I mean, I would muscle my way over like 183 and be like, oh, I'm almost there. Oh, it's so close. Like, it feels so close. But if it was just coming from a place of like desperation and frustration, and I was not enjoying what I was doing because I was in so much pain. So it was honestly like the past 2 seasons have broke my heart, really. But hold on.
No, I know, boo. Trust. We've all been there, and I think it's powerful, and I think it helps to vent a little bit about it but it shows that you care and you're passionate about it. And I love that you're learning these lessons because it's going to make you such a great athlete. It's going to make you a great lawyer, if that's what you want to do. but it's going to make you so successful, because being genuine to your truth and feeling these things is what makes us great athletes.
Yeah.
And I truly believe, I mean, I've seen your career, and it does. I was at the 2016 Indoor World Championships, and I'm skying over 6'2", like 188, put it at warm up, and I'm like, this is my time. Like, I don't give a shit about you. And to pull my hamstring, I had never been injured before. And I was like, Adidas was there, my agent was there, my whole life. And I cried, and my coach was like, you have 10 minutes to cry, and that's it. He was like, we're gonna get
it's
you
okay
better.
to get it out for a little bit.
And so I think, but to be honest, if we don't go through these moments, I don't think we come out as strong. And it's through these little moments that we, no, I hear your dog.
She's a little, come here. Go. There we go. All right.
Hi. Oh my goodness.
She's gonna shut up now.
Oh my. I want a dog, but I know I can't. So let that. But
no, I think this is the stuff that makes your journey, like it's what affects other people. I mean, if everybody had smooth sailing on their way to championships, nobody would really care about championships.
You're right, and I think, and it's true. Every major athlete has gone through something, and that's what the 30 for 30s are. That's what all of this is. So I mean, I don't want you. It is unfortunate timing, and I definitely will say that, just because you don't know what lies ahead, and I think that's where the real like uneasiness comes from. You're just like, I don't know if I will ever get to where you were, but there's a greater promise that you could be greater than where you were. Yeah,
and with this, so I had a surgery, and they actually put juvenile cartilage into my knee, so cadaver cartilage, which is gross, but
it's okay.
I know, but they did that, and they told me when I had this prognosis, they were like, I thought I was getting a scope surgery. I'm like, easy breezy, I'm gonna walk in 3 days, and they're like, no, we need to open it up. So I've got like a 6-inch scar. They opened it up and flipped over my patella to work on it.
Wow.
And they said, like, you know, this surgery, not everybody who gets this like comes back to the same level they were at. And I was like, what? I just wasn't expecting it. It's another surprise. There's another Coco. Stop it. It was just another thing that I wasn't prepared for. But the thing is, like, I feel better than I have in years, and I'm only like 7 months out, and they I don't know, they set my expectations low, and I'm like, listen, I get it, you're a doctor, you can't tell me it's gonna be easy breezy and beautiful after this. But I got with a really good PT, and to have that hole in my cartilage fixed, I'm like in so much less pain, and I'm like, I know it's hard work. And they said it's going to be a struggle getting your quad to fire again, it's going to be a struggle getting your legs to be even again, it's going to be a struggle to do this. And I was like, great, but it's possible. Right.
That's all you hear. And that's an athlete mentality. That's all you hear. It's possible. That's great. All the negative, great. But I'm glad that you feel good. I'm glad that you've had the surgery, you feel good, and that you're looking forward towards the future. I think that's really important. Hello.
She's gonna take Coco because she's a little brat.
Okay, so I'm glad that that you're mentally in a positive state right now. After you're 7 months out, but I'm glad. Now, what is your plan for the next year or two?
So I'm like super pumped that the Olympics got moved. I know, hey, coronavirus, very bad. I'm not supportive of the coronavirus. However, I feel like I've gotten a chance, and it's a super long shot. I get it, just because like I'm gonna have to overcome so much just to even get back on that apron. However, just to have that chance is something that I didn't think I was going to have for another 4 years. So I'm pumped. I'm still figuring out my coaching situation. But people, you figure it out. And I've definitely put some feelers out, and I'm talking to really awesome people. What I've learned is that I've had to deal with some stuff that was really disappointing. I found out some stuff about people that I thought I knew. I lost some really important people in my life this year.
Yeah.
And I really felt frustrated with, and like a little bit of hope lost in people that I thought I could trust, and humanity. And I was like, people suck. But through all that, I've had so many really, really incredible people step up and help me just for the purpose of being kind and helping. And I'm like, I don't deserve this. Like, why are you helping me? And they're just like, we just believe in you. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
But like, that means so much. And it's restored a little bit of my faith in like just good natured people. And it makes me want to go out and do good for others. And I just really appreciate it. There's been like 3 or 4 people that have really nothing to gain by helping me, but just have believed in my story and like how far I've come so far. And they're like, we're going to get you there. Somehow.
Well, that's great. I'm glad that again, it's the journey, but there are good people, and you will go through these things. And I mean, I'm 31. I've been through it all. I've had various coaches, and there have been great losses in my journey that I never thought would ever happen. I mean, people that I considered family, no longer in my life. And I didn't think I would be able to survive and make it, but you do. And then somebody else comes in and says, let me help you. Let me be there for you. And then you kind of breathe easier because you know that everybody that's in your circle is there to support you, your goals, your vision, and your life. And so I'm very, very happy with that. That's amazing. I'm so excited you're going to keep training.
Yep. Here I go.
I am so excited. So you're looking towards the 2021 U.S. Olympic trials.
That's the goal.
Yay, that's awesome. Congratulations. I'm so excited. Now, are you do you still want to become like a lawyer and like later on down the line after?
I actually studied a lot of sport entertainment law. I also crossed over with some like civil rights law and just that kind of thing, because that's what I was more passionate about. With the degree I have right now, I cannot be a practicing attorney. But I'm kind of okay with that because I don't think I want to be an attorney. I think I want to work in sports or in like the college administrative zone. I definitely could see myself in an athletic department just because I had so many people shape my experience at Georgia in a really positive way. And I would just love to be one of those people for student athletes going forward. And I think there's a lot of room to improve the student athlete experience. I'm definitely super grateful for like everything that I was given at Georgia. Like it's very, we were very privileged in a lot of ways there, but I think there's still room for improvement. I mean, the way amateurism works and all that, like it's a really hot topic right now. And I'm passionate about that. I actually wrote a whole model policy about sexual assault in the NCAA. And I haven't published that yet, just since, there's a lot going on. But that was part of my second semester, kind of like a mini thesis that I did last year. And I worked with an education law professor and tried to really understand like what accused are entitled to, like the rights of the accused, the rights of victims, the rights of all these people, and like what the best way is to approach sexual harassment or assault in the NCAA, whether it's by a coach, whether it's by a student, whether it's by a student athlete. Like there's all these different ways and avenues. And so I think there's a lot of work to be done in that arena as well.
Absolutely. And I think the NCAA, it needs former athletes who have actually gone through it, been through the rules, and have signed whatever. I don't even know what we signed in compliance. I just signed my life away at that point.
Basically,
but, like you don't think about it. But I definitely think that it's something that is necessary, and I'm glad that you're following that track. And I think that there's a saying that says, no one's successful unless you're giving back. And I think that's a really powerful statement, because at a certain point you realize that giving back is the ultimate form of success. It's the ultimate way that people can view just success in their own lives and their own journeys. And it's great to want to help another generation
Yeah.
and leave it better than you found it, in a sense. So
Yeah.
I'm really, really glad that everything is on the right track for you. And on
Well,
the
it's
right
like
path.
I have this idea of like how or what I want to do, but not how I want to do it yet. And I just think that continuing to make good connections and all that will eventually kind of point me in that path. I mean, I work retail part-time right now, just trying to not wear myself out so I can still train, but we'll see how that goes post COVID-19. I don't even know what retail will be like now.
Where do you work now? I'm sorry.
So Athleta is like, it's kind of, it's kind of like a Lululemon. I love the brand. Athleta, sponsor me, please.
Yeah,
like,
Athleta sponsors
Allison. Yeah, I'm not Allison Felix, but
yes, you know what? I will.
But they love like
but
they love women's stories. Like they love just a good, solid, like, you know, inspirational comeback story. So hey,
but I think that's honestly the best thing that anybody can say after what happened with Allison Felix. If anybody can say anything, we knew that. Like, they must support women. They must want the promotion of independent, strong women trust. So I'm a big supporter of Athleta. I really am. But I'm glad that you work there.
And I've spent way too much money on, I mean, I've got my employee discount, but I spent way too much money there. But I love all their stuff. Like, it's high quality stuff. And
I can imagine that is something that I'm very big on now. It's like quality is it's really important to me. So I don't have as much, but the quality, and I like the design of it. It looks it's all fabulous. You look good, you look fierce, and you can walk down the street and be like, "Ooh, yes, girl." And
I know, my whole wardrobe. It's fine.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of this. I appreciate it. My wonderful audience loving you so much. I am going to try and see. He might be in a meeting.
Ken's Corner.
Yeah, Ken's Corner. I felt so bad yesterday. I forgot it, and I was like, "Oh, he's like, I was sitting here ready to go," and I was like, "I'm so sorry."
That's funny.
Totally forgot.
That's cute.
And he's a teacher, so he has been teaching since 8 a.m. and he has like every 45 minutes he has a class, and then they have like their teacher like Zoom meetings and stuff.
Oh gosh, so that's hectic.
I think he's actually in the middle of one, and I just yell. But they know I'm always like, "Hey guys, I'm interrupting. I'm bringing like muffins and like coffee."
That's so cute. I love it.
I'm totally super Little House on the Prairie like age. I'm like, like I love being a wife. I love it. I love the cooking and the cleaning and being like, here's your beer, dear. But he knows, like, if I'm being lazy on the couch, I'd be like, "Yo, garçon, beer." And he's just like, "Okay."
See, I'm good with the cooking. I will cook every meal. Cleaning.
Ooh, you do love food. I did read that. You love food.
Yes. I cook. I've got a few little YouTube videos of me cook. I actually should do that since I'm in quarantine. Yes. But I love, like, I did a little bit of research on nutrition, that kind of thing. I had a really bad relationship with food. I know you did an interview, I think yesterday, about high jumpers' relationship with food. Yes. And it's so, I mean, it is tricky because, you know, there's no denying that there is.
I truly believe in my life that I one of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with was my relationship with food.
Yeah. Yes. And just switching it from like, that's the enemy, calories are my worst nightmare, to food is going to fuel the greatness that I'm pursuing. Like, forcing myself to think that way is really difficult. And I'm also a sucker for sweets.
It's difficult, especially for women. And I think the biggest, like, I think it exploded when Mary Kane came out with her interview. Yeah. And I was so shocked because there's a perception, right? There's such a perception about what every athlete is doing. And when I was watching Katie Najee and Kelsey from Canada, they had like a lunch together and they did it live. And Katie was like, I had the worst relationship with food and it was holding me back. And she was just like, I just need to just eat, and whatever I look like at that weight, but if I'm clearing high bars, that's all that matters. Yeah. So for me, it was such an awakening, because I I would ask my coach, my new coach, I was like, can I be in the bod pod once a month? I need to track my weight. I'm 150 this, I'm one. And I'd be like, well, they're 152 and they're 135 and they're 120. And I was obsessed with it. Like it became everything.
I feel that
and
so much.
Up until 2 weeks ago, I was just like, I'm gonna give a shit. I don't care. I was like, if this is my weight, this is it. I'll keep jumping. Because right now, I have no idea what my weight was when I PR'd. Not a clue.
Me neither. I don't know either. And I think that's for the best, honestly. Like, I don't want to know. I haven't weighed myself in years, actually, because like when I go to the doctor's office, I ask them to, I'm going to turn around. You can record my weight. It's just what I need to do to feel okay. Like I will measure my like body comp by how I feel. And I know that not everybody is going to do that, but like that's the only solution I have for myself. Like I cannot know my weight, and that's okay. I don't have to. Like what's the point?
Because it's a mental block if you think about it, especially on meet day. And my thing is, and my coach would get so upset. I was like, if I have a 6-pack, I know I'll jump well. If I wake up and I can see it,
I was just complaining about this.
You're just dehydrated. Like that's all it is. You're just dehydrated. And I'm like, I don't care. Like I could care less. And that was just how it was. Like I've always been bigger. And I think it also, like when I see pictures of myself, I'm like, why am I so fat? And people are like, what? I'm like, I'm a whale. I'm an elephant. I don't even care. And people be like, that's insane. But then people who don't know the sport, don't know anything about it, would see me. And I remember a couple times there were meets, and afterwards they'd be like, you know, if you lost a couple pounds, you'd jump better. Or if like, I remember it like, and I remember Janelle was there the one time. She was on the phone with her mom. She was like, what did that man just say to you? She's like, Mom, I'll call you back. I was like,
oh my God.
Yes. And people came out to me, and they always, I mean, they're like, oh, are you a volleyball player? Or are you a sprinter?
Basketball.
It's never high jump. It's never what I do. And so I knew that I was going to be hopefully a symbol for girls who don't have the typical high jump body to still at least pursue it and know that they can be good at it. Like, will I ever, you know,
you don't see male high jumpers getting in their feels about how, like, they don't all look the same. Like, there's Eric Kennard's upper body is like huge because he's strong, and that's cool. And then then Barshim is like this. Oh yeah, and so it's like
the athletes are doing pole and high jump and still killing it. And they range so much. But I think the biggest thing is when any female has any kind of fluctuation in her performance, they automatically go to weight. Always how it is. And so it's
hard not to associate it. I know, like, there probably is some correlation, like some small correlation. But the fact is, and this is what I just tried to drill into myself, I was like, there might be a small correlation between how much I weigh and what I jump. But it's one factor of like 50. And if I'm hyper focused on this one factor, what's going to suffer is my mental health for sure.
All the other things.
And my focus on like my technique and my lifting and all that. And honestly, for me, I dealt with bulimia like full on for like a whole season and a half. And I was getting like acid reflux and all these things. I'm like, what am I doing to myself at the cost of a number?
Destroy yourself for a number. Exactly. And at the end of the day, I don't think people realize that, but I think they need to, in a sense, hold their tongue. And I will be speaking about this with Mary Saxer, and then my coach who went to Notre Dame. We're going to do like a little interview.
Can you do that on here?
Not on here. I have to go on Zoom, video it, and then post it. Like I'm pissed. I'm about to write to Instagram.
Come on,
Facebook.
Instagram.
Like, come on, guys, get with it. But because my coach, she was put into the bod pod like weekly. They were as soon as she came to the college, they were just like, you need to lose weight, like automatically. And I'm like, that's insane. You don't even. She was already jumping 5'10" and a half from, you know. And I'm like, why? How can you say this? Knowing if you're a Division I coach and you're getting female athletes, you know that females already deal with weight issues. Why? Why would that be the number one thing you said? Like, what kind of dumbass are you that you're getting paid this and you just can't shut your mouth? Like, let's look at how she's doing the first couple of weeks. Like, everything changes when you first enter college.
Oh, yeah.
So you're dealing with so much. I was just so pissed. So I wanted to talk to her because she left Notre Dame and Mary stayed. So I wanted to know why one left, one stayed. And she was like, oh yeah, we used to cry to each other almost daily. And I'm like, that's insane. And that's something that I am all about women empowerment. I really am. I think women at different levels, I salute them, I applaud them. But the breaking down of women is something that I feel very, very passionate about.
Yeah,
and I think people need to know more about it. So that'll be a really good interview, and I'm hoping that they can also get some clarity and just kind of vent in a sense.
Yeah,
like a bigger
absolutely.
Audience. But
That's
I don't think he's going to be able to make
fine.
it. I'm so sorry.
No,
but
it's
we
all
might
good.
call you back and be like,
all right.
corner.
That's totally fine.
But thank you so much. Another round of applause for the wonderful Mady. Thank you so much for being with me today. I really, really can't wait to follow your journey. And I pray that we can be in the Olympic Village together.
Oh, I'm going to cry.
I'm speaking it into existence.
Yes,
I can't wait for our picture. We go right in front of the ring. Like,
I know.
Yes.
All right, girl.
Rest of your day and good luck with the rest of your journey.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Yes, I'm so excited that I got to speak with her and just understand her journey. And it's wonderful to see that younger athletes are understanding themselves, and they're allowing themselves to speak positivity and learn from their mistakes and their journey. And I really appreciate Mady for, coming on and being so open and genuine. I will be back in a little bit at, I believe it's 2:00. Yeah, let's say 2:00 with Alexandra Orlando, who is the media director for Pan Am Sports. And she's an Olympian and a 5-time national champion. So we're also going to get a different view because this is a different sport. So I can't wait for you guys to come back. 2:00. I'll see you guys.